Hello everyone. In the orientation preview video, I gave you a way to focus on certain items in the actual orientation in Module 0. In this video, I'm just going to provide you with some a quick tour of Canvas and MyLab. And so that will complement some of the things you'll be reading about in Module 0, the rest of Module 0. As you can see here, we're on the home page. As you have already probably have seen, I do have the agenda always that I announce via announcements right on the home page in the middle panel. At the bottom, I have a couple of different spaces. One is for handouts and other resources that I post. This is mostly not required, but still you might want to go and look at these. On the right side here at the bottom, I do provide you with an overview of the full quarter, so you can move through some of the modules from these links in the agenda, or from the left side here in modules on the left hand side navigation panel. But you can also go down here to navigate to any of those modules if they are active by just clicking on these links. But it also provides you with a nice overall view of the quarter. Having said that, let me go back to the top and basically give you that the announcements are my way to keep you informed about the class, especially when there are changes to the syllabus or to any other part of the class. I will announce these items always. I will also announce agendas, as I said before, and it will probably post about current events and maybe other opportunities for extra points if they come about. The syllabus, as you'll see, well, I'll just show you now, has different sections, and there's another portion of the orientation that talks about these sections in a little more detail. This actually moved all the way down. There's an instructor section, a course description, learning outcomes. Here's the overall outline of the class. Here's some classes that are part of the program in accounting here at Foothill. You're here in this class, Accounting 1B. It's part of the Accounting 1A, 1B, 1C sequence. Now notice that I'm going to point these other two. For you, probably, if you are interested, if you're an honors student, you can also take Accounting 1CH, honors class, or an honors version of 1C. If you wish. There's some technical classes. I would recommend to take QuickBooks and Excel at some point. It's a very important type of classes for accountants. If you are going to continue in accounting in a more advanced status, you can take these classes that are listed on the right. These are what we could refer to as advanced courses. Here's some items on MAL or MyLab. You don't need to read that all that in detail. I think it's more important to read about the textbook. The option A here is what you have purchased for Accounting 1A, most likely. If you have done that already, you're set. You have the access code that you need for our class, and you also have the e-text inside of MyLab, and also the printed text. That's the best option, the most cost effective. If you, for some reason, only don't need the printed textbook, you can also do option B. The ebook and the access are given in this option, and then option C is for those that have the book and don't need the e-text or another printed book, obviously, because you should already have it. If that's the case, you may only need access to the tool MyLab. If that's the case, then you can use the option C. At some point in the registration process, you will get to this screen. You get into the access code button, you go in there, you enter your code, and you're set. If you still have to buy the access, either in option B, which will be this button, or option C, which will be this button, then you actually go through that process and you come back to this access code button later and then finalize that registration. If you already bought option A is already, you already have bought it from the bookstore at Foothill. If you need some time before you actually pay for the access, maybe you don't have money at the moment, you can use the optional 14-day option here. There's a few sections here that relate to how to communicate in the course with me. go read that on your own in the syllabus. Here's a detail on the assignments. Here is the the graded components. I've sort of given you these items already in the orientation preview, but you can look at this for now if you want a little more detail. Here's a scale of your grade, the final grade. If, for example, you have a 92.99, that it means A minus. You have a 93, that will be an A. So every point counts. Don't miss out on those very easy points that will add up at the end to a better grade. Here's some course policies. I already talked about the drop withdrawal deadlines in the orientation preview video. And then there's also the class calendar. Calendar is set up by week, so week 1, week 2, week 3. The column where it says Monday, that gives you the Monday of that week. So January 8th is Monday of week number 1. The 15th is the Monday for week number 2. The topic column gives you what topics are involved in each week. So orientation in chapter 10 in week 1, chapter 10 in week 2, chapter 11 in week 3, and so on. Then what are the assignments? So reading check module, orientation for the orientation portion, RC10 for chapter 10 will be due on Sunday. The bio posting will be due by Sunday, but obviously you want to do it much quicker than that, hopefully by Tuesday of that week. Homework will be the following week for chapter 10, Sunday of that week as well, and so on. So you can see how I set up this calendar. Yeah, you can actually follow this through on your own. I'll just say that also that the midterm exam usually opens a couple days before the due date. So right now this one is due on Sunday, but it is accessible by you starting on the previous Friday. I'll send an announcement with more detail as we get closer to that, to that weekend. The midterm number 2 will be due on March 6th, which is a Tuesday, and it will open or be accessible by you the previous Sunday. The final exam is open and closed on the same day on Thursday. The final project is due on the previous Tuesday. And then finally at the bottom here, there are a few other notes, especially the one on bump ups, which is important, I think. So you go ahead and make sure you read these notes carefully. I do want to go into now, go back to the home page, because I want to show you the grades page. You can arrange your view. Actually, this is not your view. Let me go back. This is not what I want to show you in this way. I want to show you the student view. So I'll go into my student view account, and now I'm going to go to the grades. So this is what you will see for your grade, and you can actually arrange this by either the category or by due date and other things here. But I would actually ask you to do assignment group, which is probably easier to track. Check that the transfer scores that I'm going to transfer from either my lab or the ones that I'll be scoring manually are reflected here correctly. Mostly as it relates to reading checks and homework, and then the exams down here and the CP or class participation postings. Here's a listing of all the graded components by category. What I want to show you here is that at the top you have a grade, an ongoing running grade of your assignments at any point in the quarter, but that will not be absolutely accurate. There are some drops that will happen throughout not throughout the quarter, but at the end of the quarter you will be seeing some drops, so that will affect what this grade looks like. So to make sure that you actually are displaying the correct view, go down here to this checkbox and uncheck it. That will actually give you a better, more accurate grade display than the other one. So make sure you uncheck that box. I'm going to go now and show you my lab. When you go and eventually register, there will be another portion of your orientation that talks about this, but I'll just show you now. If you want to start off to registering for this tool, you can just click on any of these two links. It will take you to a license agreement. You go here, you accept it, and once the next page comes up, you will then either create an account if you don't have one yet, but if you created one previously, you can just enter it here and then sign in. When you sign in, again, you come up to that page that I just showed you previously in the syllabus portion of this presentation, and you can either again use option B or option C to buy access, or if you already have your book from a previous quarter, you can just go in here and enter your access code. Once you do that, you'll be in the class correctly with respect to MyLab. Once you're there, you'll be able to then access either some links in MyLab directly from here, or you can go to the overall lab tool by using this button here. Modules, that will be the last thing I'll show you. If you go to modules, they look like this. There's certain sections, or these are actually grayed out at the moment, so because I need to go through these pages first before I'm able to access these other ones here. So you have to go in sequence. This is the orientation module. Here's the orientation, the weeks 1 and 2 module for chapter 10. There's always a section for the overview, showing you what's going on with chapter 10. The attendance check that I talked about before. Here are the lecture notes. Here's the answer keys. You need to look at your textbook, look at the assigned items in the class calendar in your textbook, look at the given information, and then to check whether how to solve these problems, you can come here to the answer keys and compare the answer keys to the given information in textbook. Now once you learn that, you can go into MyLab through these windows here. Once you're going, I guess, in sequence, and then take the homework 10 there in MyLab. Actually, it's an embedded page coming from MyLab, is embedded within this page here in the module. And that's it. That's how you approach the class. Hope this was useful. Again, go through the actual orientation. So I'm going to go back out, and once you're ready, click on this link here, module 0. You can also go through modules through here, or go through modules through here. Either way, you end up in the same place. Hopefully, again, this was helpful. Take care. Enjoy.